Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. Yeah, you know what it is. Hard worker, scrappy, unfiltered, and sometimes unhinged football content. Hard to explain, but you know it when you see it. Doing it daily our way. I don't know what you're talking about right now. Redraft and Dynasty Fantasy Football, we got you covered. You know their defense is ranked like 31st in the NFL. NFL draft prospects and rookies. Now you know you in the right place for that.
Absolutely.
All right, then stop saying it. Then we're done. And prop bets with my man Jay Rich. Count that money, man. Now wipe the crust out of your eyes. Get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake your ass up with Ray G. You honestly are making absolutely no sense and you sound silly as hell. Let's get it. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. It is Monday, February 28th, 2022. And it's your boy Ray G, and it's time to wake y'all asses up. How y'all doing this morning? Lindsey Mack, Mike Jag, Mike Top Dog Terrence, another Mike in the building, Roro, Tim, Austin, Ramel, Sham. What's going on, everybody? Andrew, first time checking out the Wake Up Show. Glad you're here, big dog. Glad you're here. Pleasure. We appreciate you. Welcome. I hope y'all have a great start to your week. It's Monday. Jay, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy to be here. Great show this week, Combine week. I'm excited, man. I kind of wish we got the Combine started a little bit sooner because the way the schedule plays out right now, we're not going to get to talk about everything. But come Monday, Tuesday, it'll be straight Combine recap review, but it's hand size season. It's how much does he weigh season. It's BMI season. Just stay off of Twitter. Just stay off of Twitter because it's going to frustrate you. But it's still going to be an awesome week. I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, it's Combine week this week. As Jay alluded to, the NFL Scouting Combine starts this week. I believe weigh-ins are Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday or Wednesday. So hopefully by the Thursday show. What'd you say? Go ahead. You're interrupting me.
It's usually a day or two before. So workouts are Thursday, Friday,
Saturday,
Sunday.
Before,
day or two before.
A day or two before would be Tuesday or Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was right. Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have some weigh-ins that kick off the combine. We got to get started early. He's already agitating me early this morning. But we gotta go through the mock draft. We got a little bit of NFL news to talk about, a little bit of NBA news to talk about. Shout out to our partners, Prize Picks. You see down below. Use the promo code WakeUp. 100% deposit match up to $100 for first-time depositors. Make sure you tap in, and I'm telling y'all. If you think we're not good bettors, which we're probably not, but we had a good week, Jay. We had a really good weekend. Since the All-Star break, we've done very well, right? So since the All-Star break, if you just tailed our picks on the NBA, we are up 14.72 units since the All-Star break. Now, the All-Star break numbers were bad. We were betting on the All-Star game, and that shit was terrible. But if you've just tailed our picks the last couple of NBA games, a week in, you would be up 14.72 units. We're putting in a ton of work to try to make these right, build our bankroll for the NFL, for college football. And right now it's going quite well, Jay. We had a good weekend. James Harden, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Steph Curry got us on the books last night. It was a good couple of days for us in the NBA, and then we got some more games tonight. Maybe dabble with a little LaMelo Ball, potentially. Giannis Antetokounmpo. How you feeling about how the trajectory of our betting career is going right now?
It's good, man. I'm happy with it, honestly. You know, we've been trying to figure out what our angles are. And for me, it's really experimenting with situations. And so with that comes some heartbreak. Donovan Mitchell, 1 point short, a couple bad beats. But today, look at Bam Adebayo's PAR, 34.5. He's playing the Bulls. Bulls have been getting killed by centers lately. Kyle Lowry is out. We'll see what happens with DeMar DeRozan. You know, we've been going after his 30 points. We've been riding that 30-point streak. Yeah. Today is the day where if he hits it, it'll be 12 in a row, and he'll tie Jordan, the Bulls' record. Wow. But it's against the Heat, right? Top team in the East. We'll see. I do like Bam a lot. PAR 34.5. That was the line I was looking at early. So if you are checking out Prize Picks, make sure you use promo code WakeUp and look at that Bam PAR because I think it's going to be a really good number. I think Bam's going to really explode against the Chicago Bulls. And Nikola Vucevic might not even play tonight. He's day-to-day.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, we're experimenting with some different things with Prize Picks, so hopefully we'll have a little guide and an article coming out telling why we prefer the 2-pick power plays over the 5-leg flex plays. We're kind of playing with some things right now. Soft unit size. We're just trying to build a bankroll. We're not professional bettors, but tap in, use the promo code WAKEUP. Shout out to Prize Picks. But last week we did one of the things that we do on this show quite often are rookie mock drafts. And we've done a lot of rookie mock drafts. I believe 6 of them so far. But one of the things that we haven't done are dynasty startup mocks to see where these rookies are falling into place with the current NFL vets, how dynasty startup mock drafts are going. So we started this exercise last week, and in this mock draft, we had the entire Destination Devy team take part in it. The 4D chess guys, shout out to Mike and Adam. Go check out the trade show. They're starting to integrate themselves a little bit more on that channel, on the RayGQue YouTube channel, on the trade shows. Give them some love. Stop being so damn hard on those guys. It was their first time doing something on the channel, and y'all were merciful in ruthless, just savages in the comments. Give them some time. Let them get their groove under them, and they'll be all right. They'll be all right. But we had Mike and Adam. We had Ben Eby from Elite Seekers, Jay Rich, Brandon, who heads up a lot of stuff that we do over at Destination Devy, Jordan Backus, the director of analytics. We had some sharp drafters in this mock that we did. So let's just recap real quick, and then we'll get into the second half of the teams that we didn't look at. So out of the 101 spot, one half of the 4D chess guys, Mike took Josh Allen, Gibson, Russ, ETN. Y'all remember the team. Y'all thought it was okay, but not super, super good. Josh Allen at the 101, paired him with Zach Wilson, Russell Wilson as the quarterbacks, right? And then at the 103 spot, this was the team I thought probably had the best draft, right? Justin Herbert, it was Cam Akers, not Antonio Gibson. We still didn't fix it, but I'm not going to rip Jay again for it. We're not going to double count on this show. Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, David Montgomery, Treylon Burks there at the 5 spot. DJ Chark and Dalton Schultz rounded out his team for Fantasy Genes. Eric, a lot of y'all liked Eric's team, right? No, you got to risk it, right? Don't play scared. Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Godwin, Nuke, Clyde, Lenny, and Knox. Went with sort of the 0 RB approach. The more I look at this team, pretty damn good team. The team that y'all did not like and you thought was the worst of all of them was our boy Baylor, man. Love Baylor. Didn't love this team. Kyler, A.J. Brown, Tua, Breece Hall at the 406 spot. Kittle, Garrett Wilson, Ayuk, Kyron, Michael Thomas, and Devin Singletary. Don't know the direction of this team, right? You got a lot of youth and some older players that y'all just didn't really care for this one, right? And then at 111, we had our team Gump, who y'all didn't like this team either. Swift, Trey Lance, Debo, Matt Corral, Kelsey Cook, A.J. Dillon, Jamison Williams, Pat Freiermuth, and Davis Mills. And then the team that took a lot of heat, and I've got to say I'm sorry, because the comments were overwhelmingly positive for the co-host of this show, Jay Rich and his team, right? He went with the 0 QB approach, risky, but he took, some of the most valuable assets in Dynasty Fantasy Football today. Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle. That is a hell of a receiving core to start your Dynasty roster off with. Derrick Henry. Then he doubles back with Terry McLaurin at the 604. Aaron Jones, Zeke, Danny Dimes, who the Giants said that may be declining his 5th-year option. Danny Dimes is out of there. And then Carson Strong at the 1004 spot. So that's just a quick recap of the teams in the rosters that we went through last week. Jay, you ready to get into these teams? I completely skipped the news section too. You want to do the news first? What is there any news of consequence real quick before we get into it? Because I completely just blew past it.
It's just the Ali Marpet, the guard for the Bucks, retiring was a big deal. I just think he doesn't want to lose anymore, and he talked about wanting to have a longevity, his health, all that kind of stuff makes sense. And I was just gonna point out, people, the QBs, wide receivers, tight ends are on Thursday workouts. They're doing them in the afternoon this year, or in like the evening, which is annoying because I used to like watching it at 10 o'clock. And then running backs and O-line on Friday. Then a lot of defense will be on the weekend. So we'll see a lot of stuff early in the week, which is good, which means everyone will have their takes firing all weekend long for all these players.
So everybody's making fun of me because I said the fucking word wrong. Is it merciful or merciless? Is Whitney merciless?
You said
is the
merciful?
defensive? I don't know what I said. What did I say? Clearly I said the wrong thing because people making fun of me. Listen. Y'all know what I was trying to say. I was talking about Whitney Merciless, the outside linebacker from the Texans.
Former.
Oh, and don't forget, so I saw this get tweeted out yesterday. They said Pat McAfee's show might break download records on Tuesday. So in my opinion, and I've been saying it for how long, that Aaron Rodgers is going nowhere. Like, I've never thought he was leaving Green Bay. I still don't think he's leaving Green Bay. So we are on Aaron Rodgers drama watch for him to say that he's in the reports where he wants to be the highest paid player in the NFL. What, 50 mil a year?
I think
Is that
it was
what it was?
4
51?
years, 210 or something that he wanted or was reported somewhere. He's trying to break Sean McVay's 5 and 100 from Amazon Prime. But it's crazy to think what he might get paid and how that may affect the Green Bay Packers overall. I just don't see how that would work from a cap perspective. But as we know, the Saints have shown for years the cap doesn't really exist in the NFL, so they can do whatever they want.
I don't like this. I am the host of this thing. Y'all can make fun of Jay, but don't be making fun of me. The comments are trying to roast your boy GQ, and I don't like it, man. If this is how you feel, Jay, I got to reevaluate how I treat you on this show and how I had the people treat you, because they are tearing my ass a new one. Neither here nor there. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is staying in Green Bay. Devontae Adams right now on Prize Picks is over/under total for receiving yards for the season is 1,300. As soon as that's announced, it's going to bump up to what, 1,450 at minimum, probably for Devontae Adams.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a super soft line. I may dabble in that a little bit. All right, let's finish it out. The second half of this Dynasty mock draft, Jay. And let me pull something up real quick because I think I locked all these, so I can't move them. So I need to unlock them so I can kind of change them around. And we're going to start with Brandon, who had the 102 in this draft. So
yes.
Let's pull up Brandon's draft right now. Where's he at? All right, Brandon, out of the 102 spot. Remember, this is super flex, dynasty, startup, mock draft. He went with Patty Mahomes at the 102 spot, double back with Mark Andrews, Jalen Hurts. I like the quarterbacks, Hurts and Mahomes. Deontay Johnson at 411. Kenneth Walker comes off the board around after Breece Hall at 502. Keenan Allen at 611. Big Drizzy Drake London, 702. Hunter Renfrow, 811. George Pickens, 902. Tyler Lockett all the way down there at 1011. A lot of value here for Brandon's team, Jay. What are you thinking about Brandon's squad right here that he drafted?
I think it's solid, right? I think it's solid. You know, this is about how I would draft a team outside of Mark Andrews, because I'm just not taking a tight end that high unless I want to, I guess, compete. Like, I know I took a tight end high, but it was because I wanted the value of Pitts. The value of Mark Andrews isn't really what Pitts will have over the long term. I like it, though. You know, a lot of people aren't going to like Deontay Johnson, wide receiver 1. I still think Deontay Johnson is still a supremely talented wide receiver who gets a ton of targets. We'll see what happens with the new QB situation. The thing I don't like about this draft, and I'll just be straight up about it, is right after Keenan Allen went Calvin Ridley. And as much as there's concerns about Calvin Ridley and what his plans are, I would much prefer him over Keenan Allen. And then you can still potentially double back with Keenan Allen, Devonta Smith, or Drake London, who was Brandon was right before Mike. Mike took Devonta Smith and Calvin Ridley, which to me is much better than taking Keenan Allen and Drake London, right? So you think that you could have passed on Keenan Allen. He probably would have kept sliding a little bit, and you could have got one of the 3 other guys who is a little bit more talented that ended up on Mike's roster instead of Keenan Allen. I didn't mind the Hunter Renfrow pick or George Pickens. Tyler Lockett, obviously great value. It's just a little bit light at running back, but, you know, we'll see what you could do. A lot of receivers early with really just Kenneth Walker there to anchor that running game, and that's scary not knowing where he's going to play.
Yeah, I mean, I see Andrew in the chat saying I'm starting to get pretty high on Walker. I think we all should be. I've talked about Kenneth Walker a ton. If it weren't for the lack of usage in the receiving game, I think he'd be right up there as the top running back in the class. Honestly, that's the only thing. And that's not saying that he can't do it. It's just we haven't seen him do it. So I think Kenneth Walker in the 5th round, I'd prefer that value. Even if it's a round after Spiller and Breece Hall, I like the value on Walker. I'm still in on Deontay Johnson. You know, we're hoping for a QB upgrade in Pittsburgh. I think we're going to get it. You know, Jalen Hurts, I know there's a lot of question marks about him, but I think Philly's rolling with him, man. Like, I don't think there's any doubt they're going to continue to roll with Jalen Hurts, so I like that. And Tyler Lockett at 10-11 is just, like, money, right? You're talking about value? That's insane value to get a player like Tyler Lockett, who's probably still got a good 3-4 years left in him, at the 10 spot. Good win now, team. He's got some young pieces where if he wants to trade to go get it this year, I definitely think he could do that. He could trade a George Pickens. He could trade Drake London. He's got 3 of the top probably 15 rookies in the class, and it didn't feel like he reached for any of them. I thought this was a good team, a good roster that Brandon put together. I like this one out of the 2-hole. I love that one out of the 2-hole. All right, let's take a look at Jordan Backus, right? Director of Analytics, JB. He's a numbers guy, data nerd. Let's see what he did. All right, JB. At the 104 spot, he went with Jonathan Taylor, Follow that up with his first quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, at 2.9, Tyreek Hill at 3.04, Alvin Kamara at 4.9. So, two really good running backs, a really good receiver, and a promising young quarterback. We'll see how T-Law does this year. Then he goes Sam Howell at 5.4, Kirk Cousins at 6.9, Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, Kareem Hunt, and Chris Olave. I'm just going to be honest, I'm completely lost after Alvin Kamara. After Kamara, I don't know what I don't love it, man. I don't love it. I don't like Kareem Hunt at 9. I'm fine with Goddard at the 8 spot. I'm fine with Amari, but the Sam Howell, Kirk Cousins, this to me screams of, holy shit, the quarterbacks are flying off the board and I got to do something. You know what I mean? Like I've got to do something. And I think we'll see a couple of the teams later got some pretty good quarterbacks and didn't have to kind of reach. I don't know about this one, Jay. I love Taylor, Lawrence. I'm even fine with Tyreek and Kamara, but Howell, Kirk Cousins, Howell at 5.04. I mean, that seems extremely high for a quarterback. And I know it's early. I know we don't have any draft capital, landing spot. That seems pretty damn high, in my opinion. And then Kirk Cousins at the 6.09, Olave at 10. Like, think about it. Chris Olave went 10.9. Tyler Lockett went 10.11. And when you've got Tyreek and Kamara, I'm not a fan of this one, man.
So where I agree with you 100% is the Sam Howell, Kirk Cousins double pick, right? If you wanted to go with Sam Howell, okay, fine, but then commit to those young quarterbacks. But you're basically saying, I don't have any quarterbacks because I have Trevor Lawrence, who was terrible this year, hoping he gets better, and Sam Howell not knowing where he's going to play, not knowing how he's going to perform, and having Tyreek and Kamara, you have a win-now roster with two quarterbacks who are unproven that you probably aren't going to get it done for you. What could have been different, and this is kind of talking about my own personal draft, right, is one, Kenny Pickett went over Sam Howell. Don't really love that, but I get it if that's your guy. And then as well, if he, instead of going Sam Howell, he took Derrick Henry, who I took at 5.09, he would have had great running backs, and he still could have got Kirk Cousins because obviously he was still there. That way you have your two quarterbacks, you have two good running backs, some great receivers, and your team's looking a lot stronger overall than having these three quarterbacks in these first 6 picks.
And first of all, my son is in the building. Rylan G is in here. Here he is. Dad, I slept in. I told you to get up, get your ass up, and get here early. Good to see you, son. My son is in the building. And one of the comments, it was a good comment. He said, Ray, you like Kyren Williams more than Kenneth Walker. Kyren went in the 8th, and you roasted that pick. What the hell is up? I like Kyren Williams more right now in my film rankings, but I don't think you got to draft Kyren Williams in the 8th. I do think Kenneth Walker, and I've said this a bunch, I think Kenneth Walker could be the first running back off the board, right? So in that sense, if he's the top running back off the board, if he's got better draft capital than Spiller, than Hall, then you're not going to be able to get K9 in the 8th. I think there's a chance that you can get Kyren Williams a little later than the 8th or 9th round in a Dynasty startup. And I could be wrong. I don't have the ADP in front of me, but that's just where I'm at, right? Like the value based on where they probably will be going. Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Isaiah Spiller, that's around where they're going, right? And I haven't seen where Kyron's going in startups. If the 8th is the appropriate round for him, then fine, I'll back off that take. But I feel like you could get Kyron a little bit later, even though I'm more bullish on him. Like I'm bullish on Bam Knight. I've got Bam Knight ranked RB 6 or 7 in the class, but I'm not going to take him ahead of, extremely high in the Dynasty startup just because I like him, right? I feel like you can get a Bam Knight in the 17th round and be fine. So that's where I'm at. I just wasn't really feeling this team. The Sam Howell pick just threw me off. But the dope thing about Jonathan Taylor, Jay, is we've got a giveaway with Pristine Auction, and we are giving away a full-sized matte black Jonathan Taylor signed helmet.
Sir.
Giving it away. All you have to do is register with Pristine Auction using the promo code ALLGAS, ALLGAS. Register, and you're entered into a signed, full-size Jonathan Taylor matte black helmet. The link is in the description. And if you do register, Pristine Auction is going to give you $10 off anything on their site. So you want to be entered into the JT giveaway? Register, use the code, get $10. That's all you have to do. You ain't got to buy nothing. We want you to buy something. You get the $10 off. But if you register using the code ALLGAS, it's in the description, you get entry into a Jonathan Taylor signed helmet giveaway. So that was JB's team. at 104. Let's take a look at the elite seeker captain himself, Ben Eby, out of the 6 hole. Ben Eby, he followed your lead, man. He went 0 QB for the first 3 picks, right? He went Najee, Joe Mixon, DK Metcalf to start his draft off. And then he doubles back with Aaron Rodgers at the 4-7 spot, who's going to play another 4 years apparently. So that's pretty good value on Aaron Rodgers. Nick Chubb, this is a win now, go get it roster. Darren Waller at the 607, Mike Evans, Jerry Jeudy, Ryan Tannehill, and Damian Harris. Yo, I'm just going to say, I think Ben had a damn good draft. Like Ben is competing this year with Najee, Mixon, and Chubb as your 3 anchor RBs, with Damian Harris as your RB4. Your 2 wide receivers are DK Metcalf, Darren Waller, essentially, Mike Evans, and, you know, the potential of Jerry Jeudy. This is a good team, man. I know he only has 1 quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, who neither of us are a real big fan of.
No, and Rodgers. And
he's got Rodgers. Yeah, excuse me. Ben has a good team. Ben has a real good team. Yeah. What do you think about Ben's squad?
I hate Ben because he took Aaron Rodgers from me. You know, I was looking at the board. Yeah. I'm seeing who's available. And I'm like, oh, man, if I could just get Rodgers, right? If I could just get Rodgers, I'd be okay. Because Rodgers is one of those quarterbacks, when you're going all in or you're fading certain positions, he's a guy you can get. And maybe you only have a year or 2. But he's going to be a QB1 fringe, like top 10 quarterback. And he's affordable. And so I was pissed when Ben took him. And that's why his roster looks awesome. And the other pick I want to give him a big shout out for is the Darren Waller pick. Now, question for you, Ray, because these are 2 running backs you love a lot, because I actually got Derrick Henry later than Nick Chubb. I got him at 509. Would you rather Derrick Henry or Nick Chubb in that mid to late 5th round as far as cost goes? Because I still think I would take Nick Chubb behind Derrick Henry. It's close, though.
I think it's close. I probably would still – well – I'd probably take Chubb just off the age. I think they're the same type of running back, right? I think they're the same type of running back. Do I have more confidence in Derrick Henry having 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns or Nick Chubb? Probably Derrick Henry. But I think you get another year or 2 out of Nick Chubb, another 2 years out of Nick Chubb, because he just turned 26 years old. Derrick Henry is 28 going on 29. So I think I would prefer Nick Chubb to Derrick Henry, but I don't think Ben could have gone wrong. If he replaces Nick Chubb and we say that's Derrick Henry at the 506 spot, this roster's still loaded, right? And then you get it's not a great stack, but you get the Ryan Tannehill potential dump off the Derrick Henry screen. Maybe you get 2 receiving touchdowns out of that one. This is the best roster that we've seen. This might be like,
I think so, yeah.
This might be the best roster of the draft. Like, no bullshit. Just keeping it real. Ben absolutely crushed this. And while I'm not a big Ryan Tannehill fan, if that's the quarterback you're getting at 906, that's tremendous value. He's a starting quarterback. This is a really good team. And I even think he's got some trade pieces, right? Like if he wanted to dump Najee and get a little bit younger and roll with Mixon, Chubb, and Damian Harris, this was a good team by Ben, drafting out of the 6 hole, going sort of, anchor RBs early, get you a stud wide receiver, and then get Aaron Rodgers, who's going to still play football. Really good roster by Ben. Let's take a look at the other half of the 4D Chess Dynasty podcast crew. Adam, the ATM. Adam, out of the 108 spot, took Joe Burrow and Justin Fields, so went back-to-back quarterbacks, followed up by J.K. Dobbins at 308, Isaiah Spiller at 405, Kenny Pickett, Kenny Two Gloves at 508, Elijah Moore and Rashad Bateman, 2 second-year wide receivers that should have really good year 2s, TJ Hawkinson at 805, Hollywood Brown at 908, and then David Bell at 10.5. What are we thinking about Adam's squad? Starting off with Burrow, the 2 J's, Joe and Justin, Ohio State teammates at one point in time. J.K. Dobbins coming off of the ACL, Isaiah Spiller, his anchor running backs right there. What do you think about this squad?
I think it's a really good roster. We talked about how me being in the 109, I hated it because I wanted Joe Burrow, and of course Adam took him, and then I wanted Kenny Pickett, and of course Adam took him. But I think I like what he did. The only thing for me is that even though I get wide receivers, there's tons of them out there, I just hate his situation for wide receivers. As much as I like Elijah Moore, I know you're more in on Bateman. I'm not really there yet. I think that he still has to show it a little bit. And I think Lamar has to get him the ball. And we'll see what happens this year. It's only his second year. But I think we've seen it from Elijah Moore, what it could be. And I don't think we've quite seen it from Bateman. So that's why at cost, it's only around, but obviously I'm taking Elijah Moore. I don't hate J.K. Dobbins, but I think the J.K. Dobbins Isaiah Spiller stack could be a little bit underwhelming from a ceiling perspective. J.K. Dobbins has some pretty good weeks, but he also has some weeks where he gets vaulted for touchdowns and he doesn't exactly have those big games. He'll get a lot of yards, but he doesn't necessarily score a ton of touchdowns. And then Spiller, obviously, I think we could see more of the same. He'll be heavily involved, but we'll see what he is for a touchdown ceiling because we don't know, obviously, where he's going to play. Those are kind of the two picks where I'm iffy on it. Justin Fields, I thought about taking him a pick before that, obviously passed on him. Don't hate it. Like him more than Trevor Lawrence. Think he's going to be a good quarterback. Even though people think I hate him, I think he's good. I just think that he has to figure some things out. I think the offense has to really get it right with Fields. But other than that, I like it. Hawkinson late is a good value. Marquise Brown, good value. And David Bell. David Bell could be a great receiver, and he could be as good as Rashad Bateman, I think. Like, honestly, if we're just keeping it real, I think he's got the potential to do what Rashad Bateman can do.
Yeah, he did invest heavy in that Ravens offense. J.K. Dobbins, Bateman, and Brown. I think this is a good young team. A lot of potential, a lot of hope here. We're hoping Fields, we're hoping Dobbins, we're hoping Spiller, we're hoping Kenny Pickett, we're hoping Rashad Bateman, and hoping David Bell. But I think this is like a competitive year one team, but they're not gonna win it, right? He's not gonna win it in year one. But if Fields takes that step forward, if Dobbins comes back fully healthy and he shows that he's the guy, Isaiah Spiller gets the draft capital, going into year two, he should be a lot better. Elijah Moore, Bateman, both two players that should excel this year and then be even better in year three. I think going into the next season, this could be a really good squad. Add a couple of pieces, maybe maneuver some trades around. I like it. And what I like most about it is he locked up his 3 quarterbacks within the first 5 rounds. Like, it just feels good.
Yep.
Having that QB stability in Superflex leagues is just, like, there's nothing like it, right? Like, being secure at the QB spot. And I think you've got 2 really high upside quarterbacks, and then Kenny Pickett, a solid QB too. I think that's what he's going to be in Dynasty. I'm not projecting Kenny Pickett to be a top 10, top 12 quarterback, but inside that, top 12 to 17, 18 range, I think that's where he could fall into, and that's a solid third option at the quarterback position. I liked Adams' team. A lot of these teams are really good, a lot better than what we saw out of the teams drafting on the odd numbers. All right, got another team, the FF Whisperer, one of the new patrons in the squad, right? He starts off out of the 110 spot, and he goes with Rain Dakota Prescott, man. Dak Prescott, I love it. At 110 in the Superflex League, we got Justin Jefferson at 203, Saquon at 310, Malik Willis at 403, Stephon Diggs, followed by Josh Jacobs, Michael Carter, Tony Pollard, Kadarius Toney, and Mike Williams. So he gets, a stud quarterback at the 110, follows that up with Malik Willis at the 403, probably going to get the draft capital, potentially be the first quarterback off of the board, locks up a running back in Saquon, gets a stud wide receiver at 203 in Justin Jefferson, pairs that up with Diggs. His running back core consists of Barkley, Jacobs, Carter, and Pollard. I don't mind it at all. Wide receiver core consists of Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Kadarius Toney, and Mike Williams. Again, I like this roster, man. I like this roster.
Yeah.
I like this roster a lot. And one of the things that I want to remind everybody or let everybody know, we only went 10 rounds. And in these 10 rounds, you see no tight end on his roster. I don't blame him. In these 10 rounds, only, I think, 11 tight ends were taken, 11 or 12. So there's still some solid tight ends, right? For me, the way that I tight end in Dynasty, if I don't get one of the top guys, I just wait. Like, I just wait until way later. Like, I'll stream tight end. I'll figure it out. Like, I'm not drafting the tight end in the 6th or the 7th. Like, if I don't get one of the top guys, that's just how I do it. I just wait, right? So he took that approach here and is going to wait on tight end. And just for everybody out there were still some really good tight ends left on the board after the 10th round. So what do you think of this squad?
I really like it. The big thing for me, and I try to stress this whenever I talk to people about how I draft, is I like to have a stud at every spot. Of course, like you mentioned, he's fading tight end, and I'm totally cool with that. And in these startup drafts, you have to kind of make a choice. And usually it means picking a spot where you're going to fade it. People liked my team when I faded quarterback. People like this team when you faded tight end, right? Like, you usually have to pick a spot. And while Barkley's value is lower than it probably should be, he has that stud level top 10, top 5 potential. And that's why I consider him still to be an anchor at the position. You have Justin Jefferson to anchor your receiver core. You have Dak Prescott to anchor your quarterbacks. Extreme upside with Malik Willis. I like what could be with Michael Carter. Then the stability of Josh Jacobs as just a primary ball carrier. You have Tony Pollard Tony's upside if he kind of hits, then Mike Williams, even at the 10th round, like he's got upside. His value isn't very high for trades and trying to like unload him. But as far as actually his production, he was productive last year. It's hard to know when to start him sometimes, but he had some boom games. And if he stays with Herbert, his value is probably going to go up. So I do like this roster a lot. I like the way it's constructed. Kind of wish it was mine a little bit, but you got to do what you got to do.
What do you think about Malik at 403 as your QB2 in Dynasty?
I wanted him so bad as my QB1. As at 4-4, I was praying that he came back to me. But yeah, I love it. You're going to have the rushing floor. The passing may be erratic at times, but that's part of the growing pains of being a rookie quarterback, and I'm okay with that. I think if you have Dak and then you have Malik as your QB2, he should be able to hit QB12, QB15 numbers weekly if he's starting. It just comes down to how much does he run and how many touchdowns does he throw. And I think he's going to be just fine, honestly.
And this was our boy from Germany. This was Jorgen. This was Jorgen's team. Jorgen from Germany.
I know.
So it was like when we were doing this, I don't know what the hell time it was in Germany, but this is Jorgen's team. And I like it, man. I like it a lot. Carter, Tony Pollard down there is your RB3 and 4 in the 7th and 8th round. Pretty nice finds down there. And I think Tony Pollard went one pick before you took Zeke, right? It went Tony Pollard and then you took Ezekiel Elliott right after that. So good value on this team. These are some good teams. Like I talked all that shit and now I'm kind of like nervous. Like, oh man, is my team going to stack up? But it's GQ, baby. Of course my team is going to stack up. What do you mean? Let's take a look at my roster. Out of the 12 hole, son, get ready. Here we go. Heavy RB. Drum roll. Here we go. My squad out of the 12 hole. I started out heavy RB. Christian McCaffrey at 112, followed up by Javonte Williams. Mac Jones was my first QB at the 312 spot. There had been, I think, 13, 14 quarterbacks off the board by the time Mac Jones was there. Austin Eckler at 401. QB2 at 511. Derek Carr, only 30 years old. I'm still in on Derek Carr. Elijah Mitchell at 601. My 2 wide receivers didn't come off of the board until the 7th round, and I went with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Darnell Mooney. Got my QB3 in Baker Mayfield. I know a lot of people hate Baker Mayfield, but QB3 at Baker Mayfield at 912, I liked it. He's going to start somewhere next year. And then I got Ramondre Stevenson at the 10-1, and I too punted tight end, seeing as only 11 were off of the board. When I took a shot here at the 10-01 spot, I'd rather pair it with a young running back and Ramondre Stevenson. RB heavy in this format. I'm going for it, right? Let's go CMC, Javonte, Eckler, Elijah Mitchell, and Ramondre. My 5 running backs. There were still a ton of receivers on the board that I could dumpster dive for later in the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th round. I'm fine with Amon-Ra and Mooney as my top 2 guys. Quarterback, not a lot of high-end upside there, but I'm leaning on the running backs to get it done for me. With Mac Jones, Derek Carr, and I still got a 3rd in Baker Mayfield. What do you think about this roster out of the 12 hole, Jay?
It's solid. The thing that can't be understated about your roster is that you do have an extremely high point floor from your running backs, right? They're going to be getting you lots of volume, lots of carries, lots of points each and every week. Your quarterbacks are fine. Are they enough to get it done? I don't know. It's close, but you got some good quarterbacks. Derek Carr can have boom weeks. Mac Jones can have weeks where he throws for 3-4 touchdowns. Fine with it. The receivers, though, I don't know.
You don't like my receivers?
So I think for me, it's the Elijah Mitchell pick that I think was the mistake. I think you went after RBs a little bit too hard, and you probably could have got a better receiver there. Like we talked about, Devontae Smith would have been there. Calvin Ridley would have been there. They went like almost a whole round later. And so do you need that 4th running back in this build, or would you maybe rather have not a true wide receiver 1 from a value perspective, but maybe a wide receiver 1 from a fantasy perspective, where you could get a guy who can kind of be the anchor for Amon-Ra and Mooney, 2 guys we both really like, but also probably scores more points than Elijah Mitchell, and we don't really know how we feel. I think if you're drafting Elijah Mitchell here, you think he's the long-term starter, at least for this season. And I don't know if I believe that personally, but we'll see what happens, right? I like the build. I like obviously the anchor running back. It's a build that you do a lot. I've done it in the past, and it works out really well. Your best pick by far was Ramondre Stevenson, though. He went before Damian Harris. I remember that because Ben took Damian Harris a little bit later. But I just think that his ceiling is so high on the pads. I just love what he could be. In the games that he was fully going, he was a great running back. RB2, RB1, catch passes. His feet are just incredible. I think that's your best pick. And I think if you took a receiver and still had Ramondre Stevenson as your RB4, your team would look a little bit better. But overall, I like the build.
I think the reason why is because I was already heavy on RB, and I knew, like, Ramondre is auto lock for me. If he's going to be in the 10th or 11th round, I'm taking him every dynasty draft because I think there's a chance he usurps Damian Harris this year. He put enough on wax to where he's gonna be involved, right? And it would not shock me if he usurps Damian Harris at some point this year. Elijah Mitchell at 601. San Francisco's got 2 running backs under contract going into the year, Trey Sermon and Mitchell. There's no running back on the free agent market that I believe will come in and take Elijah Mitchell's spot. When he was healthy and on the field, he was getting 20-plus opportunities a game. I know that I can trade one of Elijah Mitchell or Christian McCaffrey or Javon. I've got so many running backs. I got, 5 of them in the first 10 rounds. I will be able to move one of those guys. There's no doubt in my mind. And if I wanted to go get Rashad Bateman, I guarantee you I can trade Elijah Mitchell for Rashad Bateman plus. I can trade Javonte Williams for Elijah Moore plus if I wanted to make that move and still be insulated at running backs. If I trade Javonte, I still got CMC and Eckler and Elijah and Ramondre. I can go find a wide receiver. I've got enough running back pieces to find a receiver. And again, I put my money where my mouth is. I do think Amon-Ra is going to roll into Detroit season as the wide receiver 1. I don't think there's a wide receiver on the free agent market that they can bring in that's healthy that's going to be the one over Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're not going to take a wide receiver at 2. If they take one at 32, wherever they pick, 30, 32, I think they have the 32nd pick in the first round.
Yeah,
is Jahan Dotson going to come in and be the wide receiver 1? Doubtful. No. Is David Bell going to come in and be the wide receiver 1? Doubtful. So it's TJ Hawkinson and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I've been saying this for a minute. Darnell Mooney as well. Allen Robinson is gone. Is George Pickens going to come in and be the alpha? DJ Chark? I doubt it. I think these 2 guys, for better or worse, whether we like it or not, are entrenched as the incumbent number 1 wide receiving pass-catching options at the wide receiver position for their respective teams. And even a healthy TJ Hawkinson, he ain't Kyle Pitts. I don't think he's everything that people want him to be. So with that being said, if they're the 2 top receivers on teams that are probably not going to be very good, I'm fine with them being my wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2s on this roster, especially if I can move an Elijah Mitchell or Javonte Williams for another wide. I could trade. I know, Mike. I can give him Javonte Williams and get Devonta Smith and Calvin Ridley. I can trade Javonte for Devontae Smith plus, right? So that was sort of my rationale. The quarterbacks, I'm just going with, I just need people who are going to play. Like Derek Carr's 30. He's locked and loaded, the starting quarterback for the Raiders. Mac Jones is starting and had a pretty damn good season. You get him a couple of wide receivers, it's a little bit better for Mac Jones, right? That's just my thought process around this. So tell me where I went wrong. What are y'all talking about in the comments? What is going on?
I'm laughing a little bit, but Gary made a great point. He said, don't worry about drafting your starting lineup when you're drafting in February. And it's true. You don't have to start a player for 7 months. So why do you care about what your roster looks like? And that was my same philosophy is if I'm going to draft and I'm going to fade a QB and I know that I'm going to have to get them eventually if I want to compete, then I just get the most value and I can turn that value and flip that value into what I need to start a roster and not worry so much about what I had. Now, for you, I think that going after Malik Willis instead of Mac Jones is what I would have done because that to me is the ceiling play versus the safety of having Mac. But I get it because your running backs are so strong. So you just want a quarterback who's going to be good week in and week out instead of the variance that will come with a rookie quarterback. But I do like what you did. I think you did a really good job. And obviously the trade assets that you have for future and moving things around is still great in the way that I built the same type of roster where you want to have the value and you can move that value for whatever you need come draft or come the regular season.
All right. So now that we've gone through this entire exercise, I think the best roster that we saw in this mock was Ben. I think Ben had the best roster. What do you think? I think Ben had the best roster. Najee, Mixon, DK, Eric. This is a roster that's 100% in the final 6 in the playoffs. No, 100%. He's a playoff team and a strong contender, probably the number 1 number 2 overall seed when you're talking about win now. That's that, in my opinion. I think he killed this. I think Ben killed this draft.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's got the best roster, and while I'm curious to see what kind of moves he would make and how he would defend his case to keep maintaining that, because the leagues that we play in, what starts off after the draft isn't exactly how things finish come even the regular season. So trades will be made and moves will be made to get contenders to really strong points. We've seen that plenty of times. But his base of what he has is by far my favorite of what we've seen so far. He got a lot of players that I really wanted to help make my team more complete, and I see it in his team. It just makes his team look so much better.
We're getting also love for this team, Eugene's team, and again, again, this isn't Gibson. That's Cam Akers at 210, right? That's Cam Akers at 210. A lot of love for Gene's team. Herbert, Stafford, Devontae, Treylon. Good team. I don't think it's up there with Ben, right? I think Ben's team. We got some love for Adam's team.
I'm
not gonna.
It's just the Spiller pick for me that I don't like. But other than that,
it's fine. It's fine. I'm still. I don't know. I think Ben's is the best. I think this is the worst team by far. Baylor's team, good at the top. Y'all shit on me for Mac at 312, but I'd much rather Mac at 312 than Tua at 307. I'll tell you that right now. I thought about Malik there at 312, but I was like, I just need a quarterback that I know can complete the ball at the NFL level first. So I went with Mac Jones. I think this is probably the worst team, even though I like a lot of the players on this team. I just don't know the direction. And you're getting some love too, Jay Rich. You're getting some love.
Yeah, Bruning's giving me some love.
I think you have some of the most valuable assets in Dynasty right now. I mean, essentially, you've got 3 of the top 8 wide receivers in Dynasty, the Dynasty tight end 1 on your team. You still have Derrick Henry that you can trade to a contender. You got Terry McLaurin. Like, I could trade, like you've got Terry McLaurin, you got Zeke. I hate your quarterbacks. They're terrible. But if you trade one of your top wide receivers, I think you'll be in a good spot. And then, of course, I mean, shit, y'all can say what you want. This is one of the best teams out here. Let's blow that back up. This is one of the best. I don't care what y'all say. This is one of the best teams out there, and that's facts. That is facts. This 5 RB, heavy RB approach, mac and cheese, crockpot car, and the baker himself. I mean, we're going all kitchen, right? Crockpot car, slow and steady.
Yep.
Baker Mayfield, Mac Jones, they're all starting. I'm fine with my quarterbacks. Love the running backs, and I'm very happy with Amon-Ra and Darnell Mooney. One of the best damn teams. Literally. Thank you, son. He said it. Best team. There we go, baby. There we go. That is our first Dynasty Startup mock draft that we've done. Cody Carpentier's in the house, and Bruning says he likes my team too. Y'all have been shitting on me since the start of the show. This is karma, I guess, for being so mean to Jay Rich. I got a lot of comments said I was way too hard on Jay last week. So this is karma.
People were defending me. Finally,
it's been 115 episodes. It's about time. Y'all are crazy.
And then, Ray, one thing I do want to address though, because Brett asked in the comments. Brett, the whole draft board is in the description of this video, so you can see I already put it in the description of the video. So for people who were looking for the draft board, it is in there. You can check it out, save it, whatever, and we'll have more for sure, and we'll get those to you so you can kind of look back on those as well to see how we build rosters and where the picks were versus the other players getting drafted.
Okay, so we got to end this because people are they're still on the merciful stuff. I'm done with y'all. I hope none of you have a good day except Lindsey Mack and Mike Anderson. Those are the only 2 people I want to have a good day because everybody else has been ruthless to me, and I don't like it. My feelings are hurt, right? My feelings are hurt. But check it out. This is what we're going to do tomorrow, Jay. Since it's Combine Week, you and I are going to do a rookie mock draft live on the show tomorrow, pick for pick. Let the people talk some more shit about us, right? Let them talk. Let's give our predictions for how we think the Combine is going to play out and draft based on what we think is going to happen at the Combine. And don't tell me. So if you think Spiller's going to run slow and it's going to tank his draft stock, then we have to draft based off what we think is going to happen at the Combine. We're going to do that live on the show tomorrow. Make sure if you want entry into the signed JT helmet giveaway, description in the link in the description. Pristine Auction /register. Use the promo code ALLGAS. And then one more time, we are up 14.72 units since the All-Star break on our NBA bets. Use the link in the descriptions to get that $100 deposit match 100% deposit match up to $100 for first-time depositors on PrizePicks using the promo code WAKEUP. We're back at it tonight. I appreciate y'all, even though you guys were merciful today. Merciful.
They were not merciful today. They were merciless.
Fuck me, man. I just can't get it. We're out, man. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.